Namaskar. Welcome to the lesson number 8 under chapter number 2, Analysis Methodology. In this lesson, I will be discussing on the detailed explanations on the 7 steps in analysis. That is 7 steps in method of analysis a planet. This lesson will contain 8 parts. Each part will contain a video. Before going to the step number 1 analysis, we will have to know some basic rules in combined level study that we are going to discuss in this part number 1. Lesson number 8, part 1, rules in combined level study. What are the basic rules in the combined level study? While we are following the steps in method of analysis, we will have to do combined level study for the following combinations. What are they? Planet and star-lord, star-lord and its star-lord of the star-lord, and star-lord and the sublord, and sublord and star-lord of the sublord. Out of these 4 combinations, combined levels, the planet and star lord is talking about planet and its nakshatra lord. Combinedly, what the sort of impact they are going to give. Star lord and its star lord of the star lord. The same way, star lord is also a planet and its star lord of the star lord. What it is going to give to the star lord. And sublord and star lord of the sublord. This sublord is also a planet, and what it is getting through its star lord of the sublord. These 3 combinations are dealing with a planet and its nakshatra lord. Only this one, the third step, is star lord and the sublord. The combination or combined level impact between the nakshatra lord and the sublord of a planet. In this part, I will be explaining now the important rules in the planet and star lords combined study. The same concept can be applied for all other combined level studies. I hope you have understood. First, let us take a planet is having favorable strength. It means a planet is a favorable planet. A planet's favorable strength will be increased by its favorable star lord. If the planet is having first or second or 11 or importantly primary favorable house for an event, especially in its cuspal lordship or cuspal sublordship, the impact of the favorable star lord will be strong. For example, we are discussing a planet for an event marriage. The primary favorable house for the marriage is 7th house. If a planet in its self-signification, Lagna or 2nd house or 11th house or 7th house, that is the primary house. So there can be other favorable houses also. But if it is having first, second or 11 or 7, if they are present in cuspal lordship especially or in cuspal sublordship, the impact of the star lord, favorable star lord, will be strong. Because these planets which are having any of these houses in self-signification, they are the owner of this house, they are the source planet, they will experience what star lord is giving. Favorable star lord is giving. If the star lord, if it is a favorable star lord, that favorable strength of the planet will be increasing. Please understand, I have given 1 to 11. Basically, these houses are commonly applicable for this rule for all the events. But if the second house is coming under unfavorable, for example, for the health related, even for the 11th house also, for the, health, for the, Chara Lagna, 11th house will be a Badhaga lot, right? So if the second house or 11th house, if they are coming under favorable, then they will be coming under this rule. Basically, Lagna, second house, 11th house are all good houses to the Lagna for the, money matters, family matters, most of the things are second houses important. So it is being commonly taken, and also the 11th house for the desire fulfillment and the success and gain, all these things. So basically, a planet is having 1 or 2 or 11 are importantly the primary favorable house. I am talking about importantly primary favorable house. It can be having, suppose for the event of marriage, fifth house is also important house, ninth house and third house, they're also having supportive houses. Even that also can be there. But still, when it is having the seventh house, that impact is more. I hope you would have understood. If the star lord, next point is that if the star lord has a favorable house, which is third house countered from the planet's favorable house, it will enhance the favorable strength. Suppose a planet is having seventh house in its self. Star Lord is having third house from the seventh house is ninth house. It means that is the improving house to the seventh house matters. So the star lord, if it is a favorable star lord, what sort of impact it is going to give to the planet we are discussing? In that, if the star lord is basically a favorable star lord, it is good. Within that favorable houses which is having, the star lord is having third house countered from the planet's favorable house, that will enhance the favorable strength of the planet. You understand? Not only the seventh house. Suppose it is having Lagna. Lagna is there in the self. Lagna to the Lagna, if it is third house to the Lagna is third house. So 1 and 3 combination. Suppose fifth house is there. Third house to the fifth house is seventh house. That way, if third house from the prime, any favorable house in the self, in the planet level, if it is present in the star lord, that is going to improve the intensity or the strength of this house matters. Next point. If the star lord is having Lagna, 11th house, along with that, it means if 11 houses are also joining in the star lord, the favorable strength will be very strong. Suppose the star lord is having, apart from the third house from the planet's favorable house, it is also having Lagna and 11th house. Of course, it is having second house, also important, good only. But still, 1 and 11, if it is indicated by the star lord, then the favorable strength of the particular planet will be very strong. I hope you have understood. For example, let me explain with an example on the event. So this chart, when I have taken on random chart for your study purpose, for the explanations on each point, you can see the planet is Jupiter. Imagine star lord is moon in the particular chart. This event is taken for marriage. You can see that Jupiter is having 7th cuspal lord and also 10th cuspal lord. So basically, normally in CL we'll have, 1 or 2 houses. In that houses, one house may be favorable, another house may be non-supportive or unfavorable for the particular event. In that, 7th lord is occupying third house. If you take only the 7th lord, occupying third house, and CST is 159, and cuspal sublord is third and 9. I'm talking about only the favorable. So 7th Lord, when you're talking from left to right, it is having 7, 3, 1, 5, 9, 3, and 9. This grouping is good on the favorable side. As I said, the planet is having this favorable primary house. It is good. And also you can see it is having unfavorable 10, 4, and 6 and 12 in the sublord. It means it is also having some non-supportive houses. Along with that 6 and 12 in the sublord, it is weak. But 6 and 12 in the sublord, if alone is present, is different. But it is having already 3, 6, 9, 12 combination. This is not weak. Okay, as far as the self-signification is concerned. Now this planet, we can say it is having some mixed significations. Now we are going to talk about the planet and nakshatra lord, moon, combined level study. Star lord is having 2, 9, and 8th cuspal sublord. That is, 8th cuspal star lord. Second lord occupying 9th house. It means what? Planet is having 7, 3, 1, 5, 9, 3, and 9, and also some unfavorable grouping. Now the star lord, it is having favorable houses or unfavorable houses which are going to support to the planet level or not. The first, point we are talking about, the star lord is favorable star lord. If you look at the star lord moon, second lord occupying 9th house is good grouping. Of course, it is having 8th star lord. It is reducing some strength of the 9th house, but 8th house we cannot consider as always unfavorable to the marriage because it is second house to the 7th house. But when it is going to combine with the other unfavorable house, then it will become more unfavorable. So this grouping, second lord occupying 9th house is good. So it is having it is having some favorable grouping. You do the combined study, 7th lord in the star of a planet occupying second lord occupying 9th house. So now you can see 7th house is increased by 9th house in the occupying house in the star lord. So this is increasing. Third house countered from the favorable primary house, especially in the CL, it is there. And also the second level planet, star lord is also having important house, second house. This combination is improving the planet's favorable significations by this 2 and 9. I hope you have understood. If you talk from this, 3, 9 cuspal sublord, 1, 5, 9 star lord, they are also getting the support from the 2 and 9. So the planet is having favorable houses and star lord is improving its signification and also having supportive houses to the planet's favorable houses. This is going to add value or strength to the planet's favorable significations. Normally, you have to keep it in mind, though I will be explaining for a better understanding favorable or unfavorable. But each planet, normally any planet may not have only complete favorable significations. It will have a mixed signification. So we should know within that mixed self-significations, favorable is more or unfavorable is more. These are all based on the grouping of the houses. Anyway, while I'm teaching itself, I will be explaining with an example. You will also come to know about that. Next one is the sun planet. You can see sun planet is in nakshatra of Venus. Sun is Lagna Lord occupying Lagna itself. Okay, good. Lagna is good for all the event, basically. If it is connected to favorable, it will support for the favorable. If it is connected to the unfavorable houses, it will support for the unfavorable houses because Lagna is indicating the native. So Lagna is going to experience. Please understand, since it is second house to the marriage, that is second house to the, 12th house to the second house, that is marriage, important family house, Lagna We cannot say Lagna is unfavorable to the marriage. Lagna is a favorable house to the marriage, because without Lagna, marriage will not happen. It is important house. Okay. When it is connected to the 6th house and 8th house, then it will become unfavorable. Okay, let me come to this combined level study. Sun in the nakshatra of Venus. Venus is having 3rd Lord, 10th Lord, occupying Lagna, and 5-9 star Lord and 5-9 cuspal sublord. 3-1-5-9-5-9 on the favorable side. Unfavorable side, only 10th Lord. So that is not a big thing. So 3rd Lord occupying Lagna, 1-5-9 star Lord and 5-9 sublord. So 3rd Lord itself having good house grouping, improving houses, supportive houses in left to right study it is having. Look at the combined level study. Lagna Lord occupying Lagna in the nakshatra of Venus, 3rd Lord occupying Lagna, 5-9-5-9. So you can see Lagna is further increased by the 3rd house. Lagna supported by Lagna itself, and also 5 and 9, 5 and 9. And this Lagna Lord in the nakshatra of 3rd Lord improving to the Lagna. So this is going to further increase the strength of the Lagna. This combination is not only supportive or favorable for the 7th house matters, but for each and every event, for any event for the Lagna's activity, this will be favorable, improving house to the planet significations. Here, it is not having the 11th house, but it is having Lagna. As I said, no, 1 and 11, or suppose 11 also present, it is going to be very good. It is also good, but if it is 11 also joining hands, it is going to be more beneficial to the Lagna. The next example is Moon and Nakshatra Lord is Mercury. Suppose Moon is 2nd Lord occupying 9th house. So 2 and 9 is good. That source planet is 2nd house. As we said, the source planet is having 2nd house in its CL, occupying 9th house is also good for the family, for the marriage prospects, right? Cuspal star for 8th house is indicating some weakness, indicating some obstacles, but that is not complete. We have to check the star lord, what it is giving to the planet. Star Lord is Lagna Lord, 4th Lord, occupying 7th house, 2-6-10 Star Lord, and 1-5-7-11 Cuspal Sublord. Look at the favorable grouping of the Star Lord Mercury. Lagna Lord occupying 4th house is good. And 2-6-10 Cuspal Star Lord, this 2-6-10 Tricon is mainly focusing or indicating the professional prospects. Again, it is having some weakness because of the 2-6-10, but it is not completely unfavorable for the marriage prospects, because this Tricon is mainly focusing on the professional prospects. But still it is having grouping is not supportive to the marriage prospects. But look at that Cuspal sublord 1, 5, 7, and 11 Cuspal sublord. So Lagna Lord occupying 7th house, though it is having some non-supportive houses in the CST, but 1, 5, 7, 11 is good for the Lagna and 7th house matters. It is having very good house grouping for the marriage prospects. So now, along with that, some weakness. But 4th Lord is there, but that is not being further supported by the next levels. Now, that planet is 2nd Lord occupying 9th house. It is getting the strength of 1, 7, 2, 1, 5, 7, 11. Favorable planet in the nakshatra of another favorable planet, which is having especially good grouping. The 2 primary houses there, Lagna also there, and 11th house also there, 1, 5, everything is good, and these house matters are going to get benefited. So this combined level also will be strong. Here, no unfavorable houses strongly present in CL or OCC, and only in CST it is there. So that impact, that planet will get some impact through the star lord, but that favorable combined level is going to be strong. I hope you have understood. So, a planet's favorable strength of a planet will be increased by the favorable star lord. That too, if it is having good houses, especially 1, 7. I mean, in this case of marriage, 7th house, any other, even the primary house for that event, and of course, 11th house, importantly, if it is present, it is going to be more favorable. I hope you would have understood on this step. Now, let us discuss if the planet is having favorable significations, that is, the planet is favorable, but star lord is unfavorable. It means what? A planet's favorable strength, what it is going to experience through its unfavorable star lord. If a planet is favorable, if the star lord is unfavorable, automatically the favorable strength of the planet will be decreased by the unfavorable star lord. Previously, I was telling favorable strength will be increased by the favorable star lord. Here, favorable strength will be decreased by the unfavorable star lord. First one, if the planet is having 1 or 2 or importantly primary favorable house in CL or CSL. Of course, you can also take 2 also as we taken for this. Same point, the planet is having 1 or 2 or 11 or importantly primary favorable house in CL or CSL, the impact of the unfavorable star lord will be significant. Because if the planet itself is owner of this, very good houses for the lagna and also to the primary house for the particular event, especially in CL or CSL, does not mean that in CST or it is also having in OCC, it is not having impact. That they also have impact because they are also in self-signification. But the CL is important and CSL also is next important because this is the source of your planet. That we have to keep it in mind. If based on the unfavorable star lord signification, the impact level will be there. Okay. Now, suppose that if the star lord is having unfavorable house, which is 12th house or 8th house counted from the planet's favorable house, it will reduce the favorable strength strongly. Here I was telling about 3rd house from the planet's favorable house. It is going to increase the intensity. Here, suppose if you take for the event of marriage, for the 7th house, 12th house to the 7th house is 6th house. Suppose the planet is having 7th house in its self-signification in the planet. In the star lord, it is having 6th house. The impact of the 6th house will be strongly experienced by the 7th house. That is called, if the star lord is have a unfavorable house, which is 12th house to the countered from the planet's favorable house, it will reduce the favorable strength significantly. Similarly, 8th house to the 7th house is what? 2nd house. 2nd house is 8th house to the 7th house. It indicates that 7th house matters are going to face some obstacles. But please keep in mind, if the resulting house, which is favorable to the event, which is favorable to the lagna, so this, though it is 8th house to the 7th house, this will not be causing any trouble to the event. It can give some obstacles to the 7th house matters, but not to the lagna and also to the event. I hope this also you have to keep it in mind. Similarly, suppose you take 2nd house in the planet. That is important house for the family. 12th house to the 2nd house is lagna. Though lagna, the first house is 12th house to the 2nd house, but this is not unfavorable to the lagna. It is favorable to the lagna and it is also supportive to the marriage prospect. So, though it is indicating some weakness, but that is not unfavorable strongly. Only if it is connected to the other unfavorable houses, say for example, 12th house or 8th house, or unfavorable primary house, 6th house, then only this grouping will give trouble to the second house matters of the planet. So, this also you have to keep it in mind. Okay, let me come to the point. The star lord is having unfavorable house, which is 12th house or 8th house countered from the planet's favorable house. It will reduce the favorable strength. Next point. If 8th house and 12th houses are also, these houses are all unfavorable houses to the Lagna. These houses, which I was telling, they are unfavorable houses to the event. If 8th house, 12th house are also joining in the star lord apart from these houses, the favorable strength of the planet will be strongly reduced or affected. Suppose a planet, let me clear of this so that I can write it. Seventh planet is having seventh house. Star lord is having sixth house, which is 12th house to the seventh house. Along with that 12th house to the 7th house in the star lord, also having 8th house or 12th house, which are all unfavorable house to the Lagna, that is also present in the star lord. That favorable strength of the planet that will be greatly reduced or strongly affected. So favorable strength will be decreased by the unfavorable star lord. If these combinations are also present, that is going to be very strong. Let me explain with some examples. Suppose the planet is Venus. Venus is second lord, seventh lord, occupying 11th house and fifth cuspal sublord. Very good house grouping for the marriage prospects. The two starting from 2, 7, 11. So favorable primary house is also there, second house also there, and occupying 11. Everything is good. So the planet is owning very good houses. The responsibility is more. But if the star lord is not further supporting to this, that favorable strength is going to be reduced. It means the star lord is unfavorable, it is having unfavorable houses, that favorable strength of this planet will get reduced. Suppose if the planet itself is having the unfavorable house of the primary favorable houses in the self, suppose the planet is having favorable primary houses. Yes, 7th house is there and 11 is also there. If that planet star lord is having Jupiter, Jupiter is 9th lord, 12th lord, occupying 6th house and 9th sublord. You can see, you will see that 7th house matters are going to be increased by 9th house. It's good. 3rd house to the 7th house, it is good only. But you can see 12 and 6. The 12th house is in general is not good to the Lagna. And because, and 7th house and going to face this 12 and 6. This combination is not good to the 7th house and also to the Lagna. It means the 7th lord is going to face 12 and 6 also and 9 also. It is going to increase the intensity also, but unfavorable grouping 12 and 6, 12th house to the 7th house also there. This is going to be more on this planet. So 7th house matters are going to face this. Please understand, if that star lord Jupiter is not having 9th house, the intensity of the 12 and 6 will be high. Being the planet is also 9th lord and also 9th sublord, this is having some favorable grouping. And also that 9th house is also giving some strength because it is 3rd house to the 7th house. So it is also increasing the intensity of the 7, but also having some weakness. So favorable strength is going to be reduced by the unfavorable. In addition to that, favorable also getting some strength to the favorable star lord. I hope you have understood. Now you can see one more rule I have given at the bottom. When a planet is a free planet or in its own sign, it is the planet is having some self potential, its self strength is more. Here you can see Venus is a free planet. So planet Venus is having free planet means what? It is having it is no planet in its nakshatra. It is untenanted planet. So that Venus is having 2, 7, 11, and 5 is strong significator of these houses. So it is strongly when compared to other planet, its strength is going to be more. But that star lord is having some weakness. Because of that, that though it is still potentially strong, that somehow it will get reduced by the star lord. Next point, next example I will explain with Mercury and nakshatra lord is moon. Mercury planet is favorable 2, 11, 1, 2, and 1, 3, 7, 11 cuspal sublord. Very good grouping for the marriage prospects. The two, it is having second lord occupying second lord, 11th lord. It means that planets, favorable planet itself is having the 11th lord itself, second lord also, and occupying 1 and 2. Very good grouping, and also 1, 3, 7, 11 cuspal sublord. Very good houses. That planet, second planet is Ketu, 1 and 1. That is also supportive. Now look at the star lord's moon is 12th lord occupying 8th house and 2, 6, 10 cuspal star lord. Though 2, 6, 10 is more concerned about the professional prospects, but this 6, 10, 10 and 2, these houses are when 12 and 8 are moving towards 2, 6, 10, they are all joining and supporting to each other for the unfavorable. Now look at the combined level 2, 11 in the star of your planet 12 and 8. These houses are not supportive to the Lagna and also to the event, because this is 12, 8 and 6 and 10 grouping are there. Look at the planet is having 11th lord, second lord, Lagna occupant in the star of your planet 8. So, planet star, 12th lord occupying 8th house. So, 12 is not supporting to these houses and 8 is also joining in. So the favorable grouping of this planet is experiencing the star lords unfavorable grouping. That too, it is having 12th house or 8th house countered from the planet favorable house. It is not having 12th house, 8th house counted from the planet favorable. Of course, second house is there, 11 is there. It is not having 12th house to that. And but Lagna is present and Lagna is having 12th house here and also 8th house. So basically presence of 8 and 12 in this star lord, it is indicating obstacles or troubles to the Lagna. That to the planet itself is having Lagna, that because Lagna sublord also, that is going to experience obstacles strongly. So favorable strength of the planet is going to be reduced by the star lord. The two within the 12 and 8 grouping, it is going to be more significant. I hope you have understood. The next example is moon. Moon is favorable grouping third lord, occupying 7th house and cuspal star lord for Lagna, sublord for 10th house. So 3, 7, 1 is good grouping in self-signification. 10th sublord is not detrimental. Now the star lord is Ketu. Ketu occupying 10th house and 4, 8, 12 star lord and 9th sublord. That Ketu is having only the 9th sublord is the favorable signification, but occupying 10th house and 4, 8, 12, this grouping is not good. Basically for the Ketu, we will not be having the CL, but we have to look at only the OCC. And that Ketu second planet is Jupiter, is also giving some support to the Ketu in a secondary way. 8th lord, 11th lord occupying third house and Lagna. So 11, 3, 1 is good. It is giving some support to the Ketu's 9th house, but still 8th house is there. So the 8th house alone is not unfavorable, but being 8th lord, it will give support to the 10, 4, 8, 12. And being 11th lord, it will give support to the 3, 1 to the 9th house. Now, coming to this planet and star lords combined level, these favorable houses will experience this unfavorable 10, 4, 8, 12. You can see 8th house, 12th house are also joining hands in the star lord. The impact of the unfavorable will be increasing. That too, the planet is having the primary house. 7th house is there in OCC, not in CL, but it is there in the OCC. Third lord will experience this one, and 7th occupant also will have the experience of these houses. So, Lagna also present. In addition to that, so 7th house matters, 3rd house matters, and of course, Lagna will face these obstacles and struggles. So the favorable strength of this planet will get reduced, affected by the star lord's Ketu signification. And of course, these favorable grouping also will try to reduce the unfavorable impact. Suppose if it is not having these houses, the impact will be more. Because of this favorable grouping, they will support the favorable houses of the moon will get some support from the favorable grouping, but unfavorable grouping is more because Ketu is the primary level planet. I mean, Ketu's first planet is 10, 4, 8, 12. Jupiter is 8, 11, 3. I mean, 1 is only the second planet to the Ketu. Suppose moon in the nakshatra of Jupiter in reverse. In that case, what will happen? Ketu will be acting as the second planet. So Jupiter's impact will be strongly giving, the impact to the moon. Moon will get the support from the Jupiter's 11, 3, 1. But Ketu, the second planet of the Jupiter, will be secondary. That will have some impact, but it is not equal to these combinations. I hope you would have understood. So in this, we have studied a planet is favorable. What star lord, if it is favorable, it is going to increase the intensity of the favorable. If the planet is favorable, but star lord is unfavorable, it is going to reduce the strength or affect the favorable strength. All depending on the houses ruling in the planet and also star lord, that impact level will be present. I hope you would have understood. Next, we are going to discuss about the planet is unfavorable and star lord is unfavorable or star lord is favorable. What is the effect of these combined levels? Now, first one is planet is unfavorable and star lord is also unfavorable. So as you know that when the planet is unfavorable, the unfavorable strength will be increased by the unfavorable star lord. In that, if the planet is having unfavorable, out of the unfavorable houses, 8th house or 12th house, or importantly, primary unfavorable house. For example, for the event of marriage, it is 6th house. If the planet is having either the 8th house or 12th house, because 8th house or 12th house are basically obstacle causing houses or trouble housing, houses to the Lagna. The planet is 8th lord or 12th lord. It means that planet is owning the source, 8th house or 12th house, or it is 6th lord because it is the owner of the 6th house, unfavorable primary house for the event of marriage. Especially in CL, cuspal lord or owner or cuspal sublord of the houses. Suppose it is there in the OCC and CST also, it has got some value, but importantly, the planet is owner of these houses or cuspal sublord of these houses, the impact will be more. Okay, now if this planet is having the unfavorable star lord, it means that the planet itself is having unfavorable house in self, that too in CL or CSL. In the star of unfavorable cuspal star lord, unfavorable star lord, the impact will be more on the unfavorable side. I hope you have understood. Suppose the star lord is having third house countered from the unfavorable house of the planet. It means what? In the previous favorable key planet, sorry, favorable planet, when we are talking about, the planet is favorable, that star lord is having third house from the favorable house, that it is going to increase the intensity of the favorable house. In this case, the planet is unfavorable. Suppose the planet is having fourth house. Third house to the fourth house is what? Sixth house. It means it is going to increase the intensity of the unfavorable. Suppose the planet is having eighth house. Third house to the eighth house is 10th house. So 10 alone is not unfavorable strongly, but the planet is having eighth house, star lord is having 10th house, eighth lord, in the star of a planet, either 10th lord or occupying 10th house, for example, eighth house matters are going to be increased. I hope you have understood. So that is what I was telling here. The star lord has an unfavorable house, which is third house, countered from the unfavorable house of the planet. It will increase the unfavorable strength of the planet. The third house is going to increase, whether it is going to increase the favorable strength or unfavorable strength, depending on the planet's significations, right? Along with that, this grouping, if 8th house or 12th house also present in the star lord, because 8 and 12 houses are all normally unfavorable to the lagna. If 8 and 12 are also joining hands in the star lord, the unfavorable strength of the planet will be strongly increased. Let me explain with the example. Planet is Sun. Star Lord is Venus. Planet is not having the 8th house or 12th house in self-signification, but it is having 4th Lord occupying 4th house. 4th Lord occupying 4th house, it is not basically not detrimental, but 4 is indicating lack of affection, or 12th house to the 5th house, right? So it is having some weakness to the 4th house matters, sorry, for the 5th house matters, but moving towards 5 and 9, this is good. But this is having 4th house. If you look at Sun alone, it is not unfavorable completely for the marriage prospects, because it is having 4 and 4 and 5 and 9. Okay. But look at the Star Lord. Star Lord is Lagna Lord, 6th Lord, occupying 5th house, close to the 6th cusp, and 5 and 11 cuspal sublord. If you look at the favorable, 1, 5, and 5 and 11 are good. Yes, Lagna Lord occupying 5th house and 5 and 11 cuspal sublord. But look at the unfavorable, it is also 6th Lord occupying 6th house. So if you look at these houses only, this planet signification only, it is also not detrimental for the marriage prospects, though it is having 6 and 6, because it is having 1, 5, 5, 11, also good houses. But when you do the combined study, this 6, what you are talking, the planet, source planet 6 is going to get enhanced by the 6th house. You understand? So 4th Lord occupying 4th house, 4 is becoming stronger. Now 4 is getting increased by the 6th house and 6th house. Of course, 5 is there. 5 is going not supportive to the 4th house. It is supportive to the 5 and 9, but still 4th Lord occupying 4th house. Then the star of a planet, that star lord is seeing that 6 and 6, that 4th Lord in the star of a planet, 1 and 6, occupying 6th house. So 4 is further increased. The 4, if you take, it is for the lack of affection. 6 is talking about the dispute. So, 4 will experience 6. Because of the 5 and 11 also, that will be somehow, it will be compromised. But 4 is getting increased by the 6th house. I hope you have understood. Now, let us talk about this combination. Planet is Mercury, star lord is Mars. Planet Mercury is 3rd Lord, 6th Lord occupying 11th house, and 6 and 12 cuspal sublord. 6th Lord and 6 and 12 cuspal sublord, it is weak, definitely. But you can see it is 3rd Lord also occupying 11th house. So that planet is having some favorable grouping, but 6th Lord occupying 6 and 12, it is not good. It is having mixed significations, but unfavorable side on the higher side because it is primary cuspal lord of the 6th house and also 6 and 12 cuspal sublord, which is weak for the marriage. But look at the star lord. Star lord is again that Mars is again signifying 1, 8 and 12, 11 and 2. 1, 11, 2 are good if you start from the Lagna Lord, but also 8th Lord occupying 12, but 11th Star Lord and 2nd Sublord. If you look at that Mars alone, it is indicating some obstacles Lagna going to face, and Star Lord is 11 is good, and Sublord is 2nd. Also supportive for the marriage prospects and also Lagna. But 8 and 12 grouping is not good. This 8 and 12 is going to support to this sixth lord in the star of a planet, 8 and 12 in CLOCC. And 6 and 12 also going to get support of this 8 and 12. So 6, 8, third house to the 6th house. 6th house is supported by the star lord 8th house. Connected to the 12 also, the intensity of this 6, 8, 12, and of course source also having 6 and 12, it is going to be more unfavorable grouping. Unfavorable planet is further increased by the unfavorable star lord. Please understand, here you can also see third lord occupying 11. This favorable grouping also there. That is in the star of a planet which is 1, 11 and 2. They are also having some favorable grouping that also will be there, that will have some positive impact, it will try to reduce the unfavorable strain, but still this unfavorable grouping is strongly present in the source, further supported by the unfavorable star lord. The intensity of the unfavorable is going to be more. I hope you would have understood on this point. Why I'm telling such, I can give some easy examples, but practically when you are studying such rules, what we are talking, the same way the planet star lord will not be there. If favorable means only favorable, star lord unfavorable means that will not be unfavorable alone. Each planet or star lord will have combined significations, favorable and unfavorable. It means mixed significations. So we have to look at that planet in self-signification itself. Favorable is stronger or unfavorable is stronger. What star lord is signifying, favorable stronger or unfavorable stronger, and combinedly what they are giving. So favorable is increased or unfavorable is increased. That way you have to keep it in mind. Now, the next combination is planet is favorable, but planet is unfavorable, but star lord is favorable. It means planet's unfavorable strength will be reduced by the favorable star lord. The planet is unfavorable houses it is having, but if the star lord is favorable, automatically that unfavorable signification of the planet will not be supported or increased by the unfavorable star lord. Instead of that, if it is having favorable star lord, the unfavorable strength of the planet will be reduced by the favorable star lord. Okay, the first one, if the planet is having 8th house or 12th house or importantly primary unfavorable house in CL or CSL, the impact of the favorable star lord will be significant. Suppose a planet is 8th lord. Suppose you can see the combination here. Example, moon is 12th lord, occupying 8th house, and 216 cuspal star lord. This is not good for the marriage prospect. For in general, it is indicating some obstacles strongly to the lagna and for the event. It is having 12th house and also 8th house. If the planet in the nakshatra of Mercury, it is having 2, 11, 1, 2 and 1, 3, 7, 11. Very good grouping for the marriage prospects. The two having 2nd house, 11th house and 7th cuspal sublord and 11th sublord, lagna sublord in the nakshatra lord. Very good key planet in the star lord. Now the planet is indicating obstacles. It is not 6th lord. Even if it is 6th lord, the star lord of this planet Mercury will give favorable support to the planet. 12th lord, now you can see 12th lord in the star of a planet, it having 2, 11, 1 and 2. You can see the next point I have given, the star lord is having favorable house, which is 12th house countered from the unfavorable house. For example, you can see it is having 12th house. 12th house to this unfavorable 12th house is 11th house also there. 11 itself is normally favorable to the lagna and also to the event. That too, it is 12th house to the planet's favorable, unfavorable house. It is present. It is going to be further, the 12 is further reduced by the 11th house. So unfavorable strength is reduced by the favorable key planets. 8 is further reduced by the 7. So the unfavorable significations of the planet is further reduced by the star lord, which is favorable. Signification. The 12th house countered from the unfavorable house is also present. The third one, if 1 and 11 are also joining in the star lord, the unfavorable strength of the planet will be strongly reduced. You can see already there here in this example. 12, 1 and 11, 1 are there. It means unfavorable houses strength is going to be reduced by the star lord. Look at this example. Planet is 6th lord, 7th lord occupying 4th house, 4, 8, 12. Star lord. So it is having both primary favorable house and also primary unfavorable house, which is strong. 6th lord occupying 4th house, 4, 8, 12. Unfavorable grouping is strong, and also being the 7th lord that is having unfavorable grouping, it is further increasing the intensity of the unfavorable that 7th house matters are going to experience in this planet itself. Now, the star lord, whether it is going to give support to the unfavorable or favorable. If the star lord is favorable, the unfavorable houses of the planet will get reduced by the star lord's favorable grouping. That if it is having primary house, 6th house, unfavorable, in the star of your planet is favorable grouping. It is very good. And 6th house matters are getting reduced. That too, 7th house matters are going to get increased. So, planet is unfavorable and star lord is favorable with good grouping. That planet's unfavorable strength are reduced by the favorable star lord. The next one is we have studied. Planet is favorable and planet is unfavorable with the combinations of favorable star lord and unfavorable star lord. Now we are going to see that mixed planet. Your planet is a mixed planet with the favorable and unfavorable houses, but of course, in all the examples we studied, we discussed such mixed significations only. If your planet is mixed one, if the favorable star lord increase the favorable strength, and unfavorable star lord will increase the unfavorable strength, right? The planet is having both favorable and unfavorable. The star lord is having favorable strength of the planet will be increased. If the star lord is unfavorable strength of the planet is going to be increased, right? Now, the planet is favorable, that favorable star lord will increase the favorable strength and reduce the unfavorable strength. Suppose the planet is having both favorable and unfavorable. The star lord, if it is having favorable, it will increase the favorable strength of the planet. If the planet is unfavorable, it is going to increase the unfavorable strength. That I will discuss. Suppose the planet star lord is favorable. What is going to do? It is going to increase the intensity of the planet's favorable, and it is going to decrease the intensity of the unfavorable. The planet is unfavorable. Sorry, the star lord is unfavorable. The unfavorable star lord increase the unfavorable strength and it will decrease the favorable strength, right? If the star lord is mixed, what will happen? Favorable will get increased by the favorable of the star lord, and unfavorable will get increased by the unfavorable star lord. That they combine. They will each favorable will be supported by the favorable of the star lord, and unfavorable will be supported by the unfavorable star lord. So that we discussed in the examples also. But for the learning purpose, I have given separately. If the planet is having mixed one, because most of the cases, as I said, mostly each planet will have mixed significations. So when a planet is having mixed significations, the star lord is having grouping of favorable is more or unfavorable is more, and what the impact it is going to give to the planet based on this grouping only, we have to see that. So depending on the role of grouping of houses, the impact is to be found, that we discussed. So when a planet is having mixed significations based on the grouping of houses in combined study, the favorable or unfavorable strength is to be found. I hope you have understood the combined level study. What we have to keep it in mind that we discussed in the as the basic rules in the combined level study. So, because when you're going to study in the 7 steps in method of analysis, we will be coming across the combined levels, planet and star lord, what they are giving, star lord or the star lord and star lord, what they are combinedly going to give. So for that, these rules will give some idea, and these principle we have to follow. I hope you would have understood, and we will discuss in the next part, stepwise analysis. Step number 1, we will discuss in the next part. Thank you.